Rhythm and how to improve your rhythm, that's what we're going to be working on in this tutorial. And my opinion is, it doesn't matter who you are or what your current skills are, you can always improve your rhythm. So if you've got any ideas that certain people have got rhythm, some people have got it and some people haven't, and it can't be learned, I want you to keep an open mind and get rid of those ideas once and for all, because anybody can develop their rhythmic skills. What I'm going to give you in this tutorial is a new and fresh approach to looking at the ways that you can develop your rhythmic skills. And by the way, it's super simple. It's not difficult at all if you follow the instructions in this video. And when I teach this to my private clients or in a workshop, everybody gets it immediately because it's so straightforward to do. You also get a completely free PDF that you can download. If you have a look in the description below, there'll be a link, and that PDF explains everything that I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm also going to be using a fantastic app which is called Session Band Blues, but if you don't, which I think you should go out and buy because it's awesome. But if you don't have an iPad or you can't get Session Band for any reason, just go to YouTube and you can find really cool backing tracks there that you can practice the techniques that I'm going to share with you now. If you like my teaching method, and if you like these free tutorials with free PDFs and sometimes free backing tracks, could you do me a massive favor and hit the subscribe button and get your friends to also subscribe, because that really helps the health of the channel. If the channel's healthy, that motivates me to keep making free content and put it up and share these ideas with you. Nigel McGill has got over 100,000 subscribers, and I really want to get there too. I want to get up to 100,000 subscribers, and the only person that can help me is you. So please hit the subscribe button, make a comment and like the video and share it on social media or with some of your friends if you think that they'll benefit from this style of teaching too. Right, let's dive in. So the PDF, it says, there's no doubt in my mind that whatsoever that rhythm is a skill that everybody can improve. It's not something you have or you don't. With a strategy and a plan, no matter where you are, everybody can advance their rhythmic skills. So one of the ways that people struggle with rhythm is because they're overwhelmed with other things. So they're overwhelmed with just like holding and finding the notes on the saxophone, for one thing, or they're trying to remember the notes of a scale. Now, if you find yourself in that kind of a situation, when you're trying to get your brain to do two things, your brain's struggling to think of what scale to play and like where those notes are on the sax and rhythm, you've got no chance. So what we want to do is to reduce the amount of notes that we play. That's the first thing, just to one note. Now you might think to yourself, you can't possibly make a fantastic solo with one note, but you totally can. And I want you to go and research and have a look at this awesome saxophonist. He's just a total hero of mine, called Big J McNeely, and there's a photograph of him here. And as you can see, he's laying on his back and playing the saxophone at a gig. And by the way, I don't recommend laying on your back playing the saxophone because the spit tends to run back into your mouth, which is not very nice. But what I'm really fascinated with is look at the expressions of the rock and rollers. This picture was taken in the 50s, I think. And look at the rock and rollers in absolute ecstasy, right? He's whipping these guys up into a frenzy. Now, these guys are tough looking guys, and they're not people like just ordinarily whipped up like maybe Beatlemania, you know, like people used to go crazy for the Beatles. These are tough guys, right? They'll fight in the car park, and look at them, they're totally mesmerized. They're bashing their fists on the stage because what he's doing is so amazing. And I'd suspect, although we can't hear what he's doing, I suspect he's playing a one note solo, because that's what Big J McNeely does. And here's a clip of Big J McNeely executing a one note solo, and again whipping the whole audience up into a frenzy. Now, I can't show too much of this clip because I'll get a copyright strike, but do go and check out the clip, and I'll put a link in the description below to the clip. But here's the clip, have a look. Isn't that just staggering? One note solo. Could you feel the energy and the excitement of the people in that audience? Now, I'm not saying he was only ever playing one note, but a lot of what he was doing was these fabulous one note solos that just sound absolutely fantastic. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to be demonstrating on the tenor sax. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a backing track from the family of apps called Session Band. And this one is called Blues, and the genre that I'm going to use is Blue Line Shuffle, and I've gone to demo number 6 and picked a G blues, and I've set that up, and I've changed the key to make it to make it a D blues, and I'm going to be demonstrating on my tenor, but I'll put the notes for alto underneath. I'm only going to be playing 1 or 2 or 3 notes at the very most, so it doesn't really matter which instrument you're playing. So where do you get your inspiration for playing these fabulous one-note solos? Well, there's a really easy way. I'm going to use language. Watch this clip and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. Just to demonstrate that you can take your source of inspiration from absolutely anywhere, here's my my previous video, my last video, which is understanding altered scales, and there's me looking horrified. No, not altered scales. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look through the comments, and I'm just going to use any of these comments for my inspiration or for rhythmic ideas while I'm soloing. So Rock Rabot 007 says, thanks for providing the most straightforward and easy to understand tutorial on altered scales. Time to spice things up. Brilliant. And I can use both of those, so I can use this sentence and I can use that sentence. I think particularly time to spice things up has a nice kind of meter or rhythm to it. And then the next comment underneath that is, this is the easiest and most straightforward explanation for altered scales I've ever heard. Thanks a lot. And again, because I've got 2 sentences there, I could divide that up and use the rhythm. And super clear, very well explained. Thanks, Lyndon. By the way, thank you to all of these people that leave these fantastic comments for me. It does encourage me to keep making free tutorials on YouTube. So this is where I'm going to get my inspiration. So I've got those comments printed out on my PDF, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first one, the Rock Rabot 007, fabulous names, and he says, thanks, or she, I don't know, thanks for providing the most straightforward and easy to understand tutorial on altered scales. And then he says, or she says, they say, time to spice things up, and that's what I'm going to go with, time to spice things up. Time to spice things up. I'm going to get my backing track going, and I'm going to go, time to spice things up, time to spice things up, time to spice things up. And that is the rhythm that I'm going to use for my solo. And I'm just going to play a D on the tenor, which is an A on the alto, and I'm thinking about a D blues scale for tenor or an A blues scale for alto. And I'm just going to use the first note. So I'm going to say time to spice things up with my sax. Time to spice things up. Time to spice things up. Doesn't it sound cool? It just does sound really, really cool. Now, if I wanted to, I could use 2 notes of the blues scale, which would be a D and an F for tenor, or an A and a C for alto. And let's try that. And I'm just going to put that F in wherever I like in that phrase, but I'm just going to stick to that phrase. And it does really sound very, very cool. So let's have a look at the next comment, which is, this is the easiest and most straightforward explanation for altered scales I've ever heard. That's quite a long phrase. There's quite a lot of syllables there, so there's a lot of rhythmic stuff going on. We could start with, and then he says, thanks a lot. You're very welcome, by the way, raw sax with Kevin G. Thanks a lot. So let's take thanks a lot. So I could work that in, look. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And if I use the previous phrase, time to spice things up, and then thanks a lot. So look, if I do it with my voice, time to spice things up, thanks a lot. Who knows? Doesn't it sound cool? And it's so easy to do because you're drawing off skills that you already have. You already have as much rhythm as you possibly need to make fantastic solos. All you need to do is to map that over to the saxophone because you do it in language all the time. Let's have a look at the last comment, which is from Jan Petracek. I hope I pronounced that correctly. 1183. Super clear, very well explained. Thanks, Lyndon. So I just need to work out how I'm going to use those syllables. Super clear, very well explained. Thanks, Lyndon. That sounds great. That's really nice. Now I could do time to spice things up. Thanks a lot. Super clear, very well explained. Thanks, Lyndon. Let's try and fit all of that in. And if I do two notes, so it's really not that hard to get some really good rhythmic ideas. You just need to use the skills that you've already got, which is language. So if we go back to the PDF, it says, after working on this, I'll incorporate another note, which is what we've just done, using something familiar like a blues scale, and add a second note, blending it with the rhythm. So if you practice like this, you can build up the number of notes that you're playing. I would use a blues scale particularly over a blues, just because it fits so well. And you could start off with a D and an F and then build it up to a G, and you could end up using all of the notes of the blues scale. And it says, if you practice like this, I'm confident over the 25 years of teaching that you'll develop your rhythmic skills. It's not reserved for a select few. Everyone can grow from here. And I absolutely and totally know that from the experience that I've had teaching privately and teaching at workshops. Everybody gets this, and you'll get it too if you practice in this way, for sure. Right, I better go. I've got lots of videos to make. There's so much exciting stuff coming up for this channel. I've got some really cool ideas about some shortcuts, how to work out relative minors and relative majors, which I really want to do. There's a new app out which is Quartet 3 and 4, which is absolutely fabulous as well. I want to do a review on that. I'd love to get your thoughts and comments. You can email them to me at lyndon@saxmadesimple. We're also going to be doing another promotion for iReal Pro. I spoke to iReal Pro and said, please could I have some more codes for my viewers on YouTube, and they said yes. They gave me some more codes, so I'm definitely going to be doing something with that. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Please do go have a look at my website as well, Sax Made Simple. Please do subscribe to this channel. That really helps me out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye bye.